Hello and welcome to the Money Marketing Podcast. I'm Kimberly Dondo, Digital Content Manager. And in this week's Weekend Essay podcast, we have Chief Reporter Lois Vallely asking if a Chanel handbag is a good investment option if you want to diversify your portfolio. Take it away, Lois.
I've never been big into fashion, and I'm definitely not one of those people who has at least 2 wardrobes full of clothes and shoes. I'd much rather spend my money on weekends away, travel, dinners and experiences. In fact, when I was at university, I remember actively trying to avoid spending my money on clothes. But my best friend and former housemate Kate absolutely loves them, so I just used to borrow hers. On her 21st birthday, her parents gave her a mulberry handbag, something she had always wanted. What really threw into light the eye-watering price tag was the fact that another of my close friends, who was also called Lois, got a horse for her 21st birthday, and the handbag cost more than the horse. Despite my disinclination to buy clothes and accessories, one thing I've always really wanted is a Chanel handbag. I don't know why, there's just something about them that I can't take my eyes off, and I think they hold a certain prestige that others, not even Kate's Mulberry, just don't. I never have bought one though, because I can never quite pluck up the courage to spend that amount of money on a bag. Something always comes up that I spend money on instead: a road trip across the US, a car, laser eye surgery. Recently I flew back to Belfast for the first time in forever to visit Kate, after 2 or 3 COVID-halted previous attempts. We were chatting over cocktails one evening, and I happened to mention that I'd always wanted a Chanel handbag. I was surprised I hadn't mentioned it to her in the past. She said she had read that they were genuinely a good investment. My first thought when she said the word investment was Money Marketing Weekend Essay, so I went and did some research online. I discovered that there have been many articles written about this. One, published on bragmybag.com, laid out the best iconic Chanel bags, which would make the best investments. For those of you who are interested, very few I imagine, the specific bags this article looked at were the Chanel medium to large classic flat bag, the Chanel Reissue 2.55 bag, medium size 225, and the Chanel Old Medium Classic Boy bag. You can see a table if you read the Weekend Essay article, looking at the value and how it goes up from 2015 to 2019. Investing in stocks and properties are great investments, the article suggested, but purchasing lower-end bags will end up with no value. Therefore, purchasing designer bags is also a good way to diversify your portfolio. This article was from 2019, but I imagine the picture would be pretty much the same now, 3 years on. And it's not just Chanel. Premium labels like Escada, Gucci and Jimmy Choo do the same thing. Another article I found on unusualinvestments.com suggested buying discounted designer clothes and leasing them out as a good way to get a return on your investment. The idea is simple. You buy a used, good-condition designer item for a large discount through a consignment store, estate sale or some other non-retail route. You then lease the item through one of several wardrobe rental websites. The article suggests StyleLend or Rent My Wardrobe. Those are US-based, but there are UK equivalents like mywardrobehq.com. The Unusual Investments article said that over time you pay yourself back for the cost of that item and then everything else on top is profit. When the item is no longer in demand, you can sell it and move on. Typically, items rent on a 1-week basis for 5 to 10% of their retail value. For instance, a pink Chanel purse, which retails for $3,200, is listed for lease at $320 a week. A pair of Christian Louboutin shoes, which retails for $1,295, can be listed for at least at $90. It's not just niche websites which are writing about this either. A 2020 article in Forbes with the headline "Designer Handbags Are Now a Better Investment Than Art" said, "In a landscape of stocks, bonds, property and more, designer handbags may not seem like the most obvious way to diversify your investments, but they're certainly worth taking a look at." The article cited a study by Art Market Research, which suggested designer bags now outperform art, classic cars and rare whiskies in terms of investment potential. Some bags have even experienced a valuation spike of an average of 83% in the past 10 years. By comparison, coins have increased by 21%, first edition books by 42%, and watches by just 72%. While people invest for different reasons, those with collateral to burn often buy designer handbags for a fairly fast return on investment, the Forbes article read. The harder a bag is to buy, whether that's because of a limited release or simply that it's more expensive than its patented peers, the more coveted it becomes. So the question is, should I buy a Chanel handbag?
Thank you, Lois, for another great weekend essay. We really do hope that you enjoyed it. Please do keep up to date with all our new releases via Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts from. You can also keep up to date with all our new content published on the Money Marketing website and the magazine, as well as our Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next time.